about the world, y'all. Southern style, just some good old boys. Whitetail, monster bears, country boys making noise. Elk, turkey, pronghorn, it's time to get
Welcome back.
We're
going to talk about some of the kickoff games this year for the SEC, and
some are real interesting.
there's some. I didn't realize there's going to be a lot of good ball games opening weekend of the season.
Getting out of the gate early and strong. Got Auburn playing Arkansas.
Poor Bielema.
Well, I tell you, if you're going to coach in the SEC, jump in the fire.
Hey, that's a make or break right there for both teams.
That's it. I mean, Arkansas surprised Auburn.
It could happen.
Yes. I mean, you never know. I mean, Auburn's got to come out there, though, and I look for the first three games Auburn plays this year to really set their tone. Because if you want to carry on what they had last year, that's how you'll do it, and I want to see what they do.
I'm interested to see how much Nick Marshall progressed with the whole year under Malzahn, because there was some, even in that national championship game, there were some passes he should have hit guys wide open. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
And he's got an arm. They say he doesn't have an arm, but he's got an arm.
Cannon.
We got Alabama playing West Virginia.
That'll be a good game, too.
It will be, and I'm glad to see us doing that. I don't know what kind of year West Virginia had last year, but they've always got a good team. But
it's a hurry-up offense.
That's right. Jumping through the fire,
Dana Holgerson up there.
Better get your cigarettes out. And then Florida starts off with a tough one. They play Idaho.
Oh, the Vandals.
Yes, but Florida needs an easy schedule to
Their
start
first couple of games are easy games, I think.
Yep. I think they play Eastern Michigan second.
And then Eastern Kentucky.
In Eastern Kentucky. And then they've got Alabama, their fourth game. So they can very well go into that with a 3-0 record.
Which would be a good confidence builder for them. They need something to spark them.
They were stinking it up last year. And I've got to give kudos to Wisconsin. They're going to come down here and play. Well, I don't know where they're going to play, but they're playing LSU.
It's at LSU, too, isn't it? I think so.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be good. And we got Kentucky playing UT Martin.
Well, they should win that one.
Yes, I'm going to give. But I'm going to be interested to see how Kentucky does this year, though. I think they're going to be better than what they were last year, and they're always somebody to reckon with. I mean, they will. And we've got South Carolina and Texas A&M, an SEC matchup. I like that to start the season off. I love the Ole Miss Boise State. Give kudos to Ole Miss and Boise State for matching up early.
That's in the Chick-fil-A kickoff.
That'll be a great ball game to watch.
That's going to be interesting with Boise. You know, Chris Peterson, their coach, went to Washington, and I can't remember who's the new Boise coach. But
I'm not sure either. I need to find that out.
At least they're playing in Atlanta, not on that blue field, because I can't stand watching the ball game.
I can't stand that. That hurts my eyes. And we've got Mississippi State playing Southern Miss, and that ought to be a pretty good ball game between two bad teams. And Vandy playing Temple.
That's another.
Yeah. And I remember the year that Vandy started off playing Michigan, and I'm still impressed with Vandy with the 3 9-win seasons. But Derek Mason telling us that the Pac-12 is stronger than SEC.
From top to bottom, the SEC is weaker than the Pac-12. He said, now there's no comparison. The SEC is, his exact words were, the SEC is the dominant conference of the country. But that's because their top half is so much better than everybody else. But the lower half, the bottom of the conference, can compete with anybody else.
Do they drug test coaches? I mean,
maybe they need to.
They might need to.
They're going to start drug testing welfare recipients in Alabama. So,
amen, amen. The government will save some money there. And then we've got Georgia playing Clemson. That's going to be a big one right there.
It's in Athens too.
And Georgia has to win that ball game.
I think you're
and
right.
I like Clemson. I like Dabo. You know, I kind of keep up with my Alabama boys, but I'm an SEC man at heart, and Georgia has to win that game. That's a make or break for Mark Richt.
That's what you were mentioning earlier.
Yes.
That's the game they got.
They've got to
need
win that game, and I think that they win that game, and they're going to sail for a little while because that'll give them all the confidence they need. They lose it, and you watch Georgia lose 4 ball games.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Missouri playing a toughie, South Dakota State. Yes, I think we played them in volleyball one year. And we got Texas, like I said, Texas A&M and South Carolina matching up. That's going to be a great SEC
both of them
ball
have
game.
lost their quarterbacks, Connor Shaw and Johnny Manziel.
So they're going to be starting fresh.
But I don't think South Carolina's got as much to worry about as Texas A&M because the Thompson kid, Dylan Thompson, the backup for Connor Shaw, started several games.
Yes.
And he's a senior.
So he's ready to play, and he's ready to show himself.
There wasn't a big slack off between him and Connor Shaw.
Well, and who's the quarterback that came in for Anthony Murray?
Andy Murray. Aaron Murray.
Aaron Murray. Who's the quarterback that came in for him that looked so good for Georgia?
I can't remember his name.
But he played good ball when
he did.
Murray was out. They won their bowl game.
Well, they lost to Nebraska.
That's right.
But he played good. He did. He
did.
Really good.
And he's got promise. And I think Mark Richt and Georgia's in good shape with him. But I know South Carolina is with that senior quarterback. He's going to come in. He's going to shine.
Now, is that all the SEC teams?
No, we've got Tennessee playing Utah State.
That's going to be a tough one for Tennessee.
It sure will, because they're going to have that West Coast offense, and they're going to be running up and down the field. And Tennessee's got something they've got to show this year. They can't sit back for another 3 years.
No,
this guy's got to get in there and do it right now.
Their quarterback's being talked about as a Heisman candidate from Utah State. And he's good. He came to Auburn 2 years ago as a freshman, and as a sophomore starting and almost beat Auburn because that was the year they went 3-9. So,
well, I expect him to do a better job. And I've read where they've got some good they got a good receiving team out there.
They're big. Their offensive line's big. They beat some people last year that they weren't supposed to beat, and most of them are coming back. So that's going to be a tough game.
And you talk in these first games, you catch somebody off guard this first game, and you don't have a chance on some of these games. You don't have a chance to go out there and be sloppy. You got to go out there and play football.
Utah State, I bet you right now they're practicing for Tennessee.
Oh, yes.
Well, I wonder if Tennessee is kind of looking on down the road practicing for somebody else coming up.
Tennessee don't need to do that at all. Well, and I do hate Derek Dooley gone. I was a Derek Dooley fan. I think they should have given him another year.
With that right there in the SEC, you got Auburn playing Arkansas, Alabama, West Virginia. There's not too many of those games that are real slackers that you're going to have to you're not really going to have to play to win. I mean, Ole Miss, Boise,
South Carolina, Texas A&M,
Georgia, Clemson.
Shoot, yeah, this is going to be a wide open.
And now you wonder why we talk about the SEC a lot. And just go look at the Big Ten. Let's just go look at them for a minute and see who they open up with.
Well, Ohio State goes to Navy, and it would tickle me to death if Navy popped them.
That wing T wishbone offense is going to come out of the gate, run up down the field. Now, their quarterback's pretty good, too.
I know it. And I tell you, they're a smash-mouth type team. They'll run that ball up your throat. And I'm looking forward to that game. And we got Indiana and Indiana State.
They might break an egg in that game.
Maryland's playing James Madison. Michigan and Appalachian State.
Could it be another upset?
I love that.
Brady Hoke would be out the first week of the season if they lost that game.
Oh, they would run him. They'd run him out, yes. And Penn State and UCF. That's going to be a good ball game. And I look for Penn State to start getting on the rise again with this new coach, Franklin. But at the same time, Central Florida. And doesn't that have the old Georgia Tech coach, doesn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
O'Leary.
Yes.
And Central Florida's losing the best quarterback they've probably ever had, and that Blake Bortles. He's going to be in the top 10 pick in the draft.
That's right. We've talked about him a couple of weeks ago. But that'll be a good ball game. And Rutgers playing Washington State. Washington State ought to take that game. But,
I think so.
And in the other side of that division, we got Illinois playing Youngstown State. And I look for Youngstown State to beat Illinois.
I do too.
Northern Illinois will be playing Iowa.
Iowa should win that.
Not much. Minnesota playing Eastern Indiana. Eastern Illinois. Big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Big difference. Nebraska's got Florida Atlantic. And I tell you, my buddy Howard might just surprise Nebraska. And then we got Northwestern playing Cal. I hope that's not on
That
TV.
was Ohio State's big non-conference game
That's
last
right.
year was Cal. So.
That's right. And then we got Purdue and Western Michigan. And the one I'm looking forward to is LSU and Wisconsin. I tell you, I'm going to look forward to that ball game.
And Michigan State plays team from about 10 miles down the road here from us, Jacksonville State, who broke every FCS record in points and yards allowed or yards gained and points scored. And John Gross, who is a personal friend of mine, has been for 20 years. He was my high school coach at Asheville. He's the head coach at Jacksonville now, and I can tell you right now, their foot ain't coming off the gas.
Oh no, they're wide open.
So that's not going to be a pushover for Michigan State right there.
Well, I hope Michigan State's not getting prepared for it, because if they don't watch out, Jacksonville will surprise them, and it is up there.
It is at Michigan State. I can't wait. I want to watch that game more than any I've heard. So,
but I give kudos to these teams like that want to jump into the fire, play somebody good. I mean, it's not going to hurt Jacksonville State if they get beat. It's only going to help them.
Yeah.
And if they win the game,
even if they keep it
telling
close,
what it'll do.
Even if they just keep it close.
Yes. I mean, that's a moral victory right there.
They're going to score. I can promise you that.
And a close game against Michigan State will hurt Michigan State, even if they win.
Yeah.
They're going to come in there and start reevaluating everything they do. And I think that's a good eye-opener right there.
I'm going to put a star beside that game. That's going to be the –
That'll be interesting one
that
to
could
watch.
be the upset of opening week right there.
I'd love that.
A top 10 team getting beat. Well, and Jacksonville State will be ranked in the top 10 of the FCS too, so that's going to be a top 10
from two divisions,
from
yes.
two different divisions. We'll see. That could be really interesting right there.
Well, I'll tell you, Ohio State's really set themselves up with a tough out-of-conference schedule. I think they do play Virginia Tech, and I look for Virginia Tech to beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Beamer.
They might be 0-2 to start the season.
Exactly. I mean, Navy give them a good ball game, play some defense, and Braxton Miller's, he's gone.
No, he came back.
He's got one more year.
He came back.
That's right. He's got one more year, because we didn't talk about him in the NFL draft. But they're going to have their hands full, and I'd love to see Ohio State go ahead and get beaten. I'm not a fan of that conference, so sorry.
Well, Urban Meyer's had some medical issues this spring, and that may be that was what his downfall was at Florida.
Yeah. He get beat, he gets sick.
I think he had a cyst removed is what they said. He's already worrying he's going to get some ulcers or something.
Well, he's still looking for that dream job, I think. You know, he almost messed himself up that time by saying he wanted Notre Dame. That was his dream job. And then Notre Dame picked up the
Brian Kelly from
Yes.
Eastern Michigan. Or Cincinnati. He was at Cincinnati
Yes.
before he came to Notre Dame. But he
And I
started
like
at
Brian
Eastern
Kelly.
Michigan.
I like him. He's a class guy.
You know, I didn't realize that he was that Mount Union, that the Division III school that's been so good for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was there and won several national championships. Then he went to Eastern or West. It was Western Michigan, the Chippewas.
The Chippewas, yes.
And that was when they were coming up beating some people. They were, like Michigan and teams like that. And then he goes to Cincinnati and gets them back on the map.
Never heard of Cincinnati.
And now he's at Notre
every
Dame.
time I would think about Cincinnati, I think about Bob Huggins getting a DUI. But, I mean, they were a basketball school, and he's turning them around. And I think he'll do the same wherever he goes.
Let's just go to the ACC for a minute. We've got Florida State opening up with Oklahoma State in Dallas.
I think that's going to be a good ball game.
I do, too. Mike Gundy's always got a good team. And
he's a good coach.
He's a man.
Yeah.
He's a man.
He's
I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man.
Don't talk to those boys like that. Talk to me.
I think there's going to be a lot of questions this year with Florida State. They'll find out first week of the season how good they're going to be too. There's a lot of ball games like that. That's what's good for. I think it's good for college football. These teams stepping up and playing somebody tough first part of the year.
Not go through these 3 games where you just powder puffing your way along, and then all of a sudden you don't find out anything until the 3rd or 4th game. And when that happens, usually you start getting beat.
Yeah.
I mean, you jump into the fire. I like to play the best teams. Play the best teams you can. You gauge your team on that. Because a loss at the first of the year is not going to hurt anybody. It's going to let you know how you're going to be. And you got to come out there ready to play now. The powder puffs are gone,
Well, when we come back from the break, we're going to spend some more time on this, maybe highlight some of the games that we're going to, of opening week that we think should be talked about a little more. We'll be back.
I'm Andy Deason. I like to call myself the poetry man. I'm a comic. I'm a balladeer. I'm a dancer. I'm a singer. But I have a lot of fun. I'm in the process of doing my 4th book. And check me out on andydeason.com or The Poetry Man. And I'm on Facebook also. Thank you very much and look forward to hearing from you.
Well, we hope you're enjoying the show. Hey, go by and check us out on Facebook at This Week in College Football and leave your comments or questions that you may want us to read on next week's show. Also, we'll be updating our site with stories that you may not hear us read. So go by and check us out at This Week in College Football.